Rated E for everyone. Includes in-game purchases. Includes random items. EA Sports FC 26 is here. Play your way this holiday season with an overhauled gameplay experience powered by community feedback. Enjoy festive upgrades in Ultimate Team with winter wildcards. Take on holiday-themed challenges and manage your career, like navigating the busy Christmas period. And team up with friends and clubs with new tournaments and live events. The club is yours. Give the gift of football with EA Sports FC 26.
Quiet Riot.
Hello, Quiet Rioters, and welcome to the second part of our festive feast with James O'Brien. We've kept some of the juiciest and tastiest morsels from our Christmas special as a treat for today. And you all know that second day food is usually even tastier. So, without further ado, pour the last of your Christmas port, rescue that fluffy piece of Stilton that bounced under the sofa, and settle down with Naomi, Alex, and James for 2025's final Quiet Riot.
Quiet Riot. Next up, we're taking a step back from the breaking news whirlwind to reflect on the stories that should have mattered this year, the ones that absolutely shouldn't, and the strange space in between where politics, media, and chaos collide. We'll be picking apart how a nothing burger can suddenly dominate the headlines while far more consequential events barely register. Why does this happen? Who benefits? And what does it reveal about the state of our public conversation? We're also going to zoom out to the bigger picture, the wildest twist yet in Trump 2.0, the UK government's most head-spinning blunder of the year, and what these moments tell us about leadership, accountability, and the narratives we are sold. Consider this section your roadmap for the next 20 minutes, where we separate cock-ups from conspiracy and look at how both can end up shaping the news cycle in ways that defy logic. James, if you had to pinpoint the maddest thing Trump has done in his second term, what would you reach for?
Well, come on. I mean, this is the
It's a
problem.
long list.
It's just the problem, isn't it? And it's also the point. The problem is the point. Yeah. But oddly, and this is the sort of thing you could change your mind about every 2 minutes, isn't it? But I think accepting the jumbo jet from Qatar was pretty huge in terms of what it breaches and what it breaks. And the blatancy.
And the cost of debugging the thing.
And you know, Qatar is, I think it can be fairly described as a Hamas-friendly regime. And the idea that all you have to do to keep the President of the United States, in many other ways, Israel's most, unquestioning ally, but you can keep him relatively sweet if you give him an enormous jumbo jet. Yeah.
The Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Respond. You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are you're a terrible reporter.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
So they did. And he loved it. And he took it. And he claims it's going to be part of his presidential library, which means, as far as I can tell from Donald Trump's intellectual life, that means it will contain one plane and no books. I just remember thinking, what do you do now? Yeah. What do satirists do now?
Yeah, no.
I think that a lot, actually. But
we thought it a lot here.
Yeah, but with Trump, the plane for me was the maddest sort of breach of normality.
Alex, the list is long. What did you pump for?
Well, I was going to go for the January 6th pardons because of the signal it gave so early on in the thing that...
But we predicted it. We kind of knew he'd do it.
Yeah. And also, it's kind of not mad.
No.
It's sort of outrageous, but in
makes
character. Sense. Yeah, it makes sense. On mad stuff, I mean, I just think selling merchandise from the Oval Office is quite extraordinary. Abolishing the Department for Education, the press conference he gave from up on the roof.
What was that about?
I mean, do you remember he came out on the roof and journalists started shouting up questions?
You're knocking down the eastway. I mean, once
well,
you start,
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that.
I mean, the conference where someone fainted in the background, and he just stood there staring bravely at the camera as well, so the people were trying to revive someone behind him.
Someone said to him, "How your thoughts on Charlie Kirk dying?" And he goes, "Have you seen the state of my new extension?" I mean, these moments moments are mad, aren't they?
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yeah.
On the being on the roof thing, I wonder if when he had his swollen ankles thing, a clinician said to him, "You need to elevate your feet." And he went, "Oh, I'll go up on the roof."
That's not impossible.
It's not, is it?
It's not impossible.
I mean, my personal favourite was actually he did one news conference where he went on for a long time about how he turned the water on for California and how if he hadn't turned the water on, they would still be burning. And it's all about this little fish. And he really went into detail that made zero sense.
I opened up the water for California. It's a great thing. It's too bad they didn't do it themselves. I had to do it, and it was not easy. We did it a very rough way, and I didn't like to do it a rough way. We shouldn't have to do it a rough way. They send it all into the Pacific Ocean, trying to protect a certain little fish that's not doing well because it doesn't do well without water either. And it shouldn't be protected because it shouldn't be a protected species. These people are sick. There's something wrong. So we send hundreds of millions of gallons of water a day into the Pacific Ocean. They turn a valve, and the valve heads out, and we turn the valve back. I actually had to do it using force. We turned the valve back, and now they have water, but not as much as they should have. And I'm telling Gavin Newsom by this conversation right now, turn the rest of the water on.
Last week, without warning, Donald Trump had the Army Corps of Engineers open up a federally controlled flow of water in Northern California that was completely unnecessary and unusable by anyone in Southern California and possibly by anyone in California because it almost created flooding in an excess of water beyond what anyone could use. And that water was completely incapable of reaching anywhere close to the Los Angeles area where Donald Trump is pretending his water could help with firefighting. One water scientist told the Los Angeles Times, "This is going to hurt farmers. This takes water out of their summer irrigation portfolio." Another water expert told the LA Times, "I don't know where this water is going, but this is the wrong time of year to be releasing water from these reservoirs. It's vitally important that we fill our reservoirs in the rainy season so water is available for farms and cities later in the summer."
I've been fighting with them for a long time about allowing the water to come down from the Pacific Northwest, essentially. And we actually opened up that water pretty strongly. We got a lot of opposition from the governor. We opened it up anyway, and the water is coming down. We want it opened further. They have a lot of water. They send it out into the Pacific to protect the smelt. It's a little tiny fish that's not doing very well, especially when they don't have water. They really do badly, okay? If this guy allowed the water to come down from the Pacific Northwest, they have so much water they don't know what to do with it. All of those sprinklers would have gone on. All of those people with those beautiful houses with sprinklers in the ceilings and with the water, the fire pumps outside, all that water. They didn't have any water because they wouldn't let the water come down. There's so much water there. The environmentalists didn't want water. They still don't want it. If they had their choice, they don't want it. I said, are you crazy? Millions and millions of barrels a day. The water comes down from the northwest parts of Canada, I guess. I opened it up. It wasn't that easy to do, but I opened it up and it's pouring down and it's a beautiful thing.
There's been so
golden
much.
Domes. He got obsessed with
the golden
domes.
Domes. Yeah, he got obsessed for about a week with that. I think I'm going to plump for Greenland.
Oh yeah,
because
lots happened, hasn't it?
Huh?
A lot has happened.
I know, but the Greenland thing, everyone was like, "Huh?" And they thought it was just a brain fart. But it wasn't. He mentioned it loads of times and they scoped it out. Like J.D. Vance went there for a visit. Yeah. They tried to make a little bit of noise with local parties, but the polling went against them, so they kind of gave that up for now. But for a time, for a moment, they were actually threatening another NATO ally for their territory. Yeah. And that was really quite a weird moment, even by his standards.
Yeah, you're right. And it makes you wonder whether anybody now would dare to suggest that you should only focus on what he does, not what he says. Because when he says it, he really means it, doesn't he? But he'd come back now to that. It'd be on his list somewhere. It'd be filed away in much the same way that his hatred of Zelensky is built upon Zelensky's refusal to help him rig a case against Joe Biden. He'd never forgiven him for that. Greenland will be on his shit list. That idea that he just sometimes says stuff isn't true, is it? All he does is allow his thoughts to come out sometimes a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah, he's a little bit scattered.
Yes.
He might let go of something for a while because he forgot about it, but that doesn't mean that when he says it's not serious.
Still there.
Well, I'm, as you mentioned, James, going to go with his intention to demolish the East Wing. So we're all familiar with the West Wing because of the TV show, but he's tearing down the East Wing and he's going to replace this more than century history building and replace it with a 90,000 square foot gilded mega ballroom that is going to dwarf the current White House event spaces. And at the time of recording, the reports are that he's had to ditch the original architect and bring in a new firm because the original architect said, I think it's going to block the light quite badly
in the rest of the White House.
And basically the Oval Office, the whole thing could end up sort of being plunged into darkness because of this gilded lily. And so the East Wing, for those that don't know, was home to the First Lady's offices, a lot of visitor rooms, modest reception rooms and things like that. And it's now being flattened to make way for like Versailles meets casino. I mean, it's huge halls, ornate columns, chandeliers, glass bridges, and all for a bit of increased guest capacity. I mean, like, it is kitsch, it is gauche, it is gaudy. The
terrazzo
it's
stuff
so nouveau riche.
The terrazzo stuff at the UN, where 20 minutes of his speech,
going on and on about the
president's speech to the UN was about how he bid for the contract for the building 30 years ago and they didn't let him have the contract. And if they had, it would be real marble now. And they're instead walking on terrazzo.
And the escalator didn't work. And it's just.
I mean, he's basically demolished a symbol of democracy and replacing it with what I can only describe as like an oligarch's wet dream.
Well, he hasn't replaced it yet. Will it happen?
Well, indeed. Who knows?
And because air was passing through Trump's windpipe, he brought up his stupid ballroom. He's going full speed ahead on his plan to replace the entire East Wing with his big, dumb, golden ballroom, even though the National Trust is presently trying to stop him with a lawsuit. In response, the administration is saying the ballroom construction is a matter of national security, probably because the East Wing had sat atop an emergency operations bunker for the president. So now they need to build the ballroom to cover the bunker. That is going to make for some weird party vibes. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Please enjoy the music and the shrimp while I lift this hatch and climb down this ladder for no reason whatsoever. Ivanka, come with me. Eric, stay. Ivanka, bring the shrimp. Let's go. Let's get the shrimp. Bring the shrimp. The one that's going to cost, I'm sorry, how much does it cost again?
$200 million.
Right, $200 million.
$250 million.
Sorry, I'm $250 million.
$300 million.
Okay, that's more, but $300 million it is, which he confirmed last night.
A $400 million ballroom.
$400 million, up from $200 million. But at least all that money is going towards something important. Thick windows.
It'll be the most beautiful ballroom. It's got 5-inch thick glass windows. It's impenetrable by anything but a howitzer.
Well, don't tell them that, you dummy. These windows, 5 inches, impenetrable except anything except but a howitzer. But even if you have a howitzer, they'll never find me down in my panic bunker. The key to which is hidden in a very real-looking fake rock labeled real rock. Finally, after what felt like 8 nights, he wrapped up his speech in the smoothest way possible.
You know what? You're going to have the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world, and you're going to love it. It's going to fit beautifully with the White House. Happy Hanukkah!
Wow. That ending was really a Happy Hanukkah!
I think it does have to go through some kind of congressional sign-off at some point.
In the end, it will be like a plywood front.
Yeah.
And all the money will have disappeared into his bank accounts, won't it?
They could just do a projection and he'd look at it and be like, oh, great, you've done it. And we'll get away with it.
Quiet Riot. If you've shopped online, chances are you've bought from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes it incredibly easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/promo. Go to shopify.com/promo.
Quiet Riot. Now, one of the features we haven't revisited for quite a while, but can't resist given that we've got you on the show, James, is the bit where we highlight trolling that we've endured from the great British public. And you really do get a good dose of trolling. Well in excess of anything Alex and I get, and we get our fair share. So we thought it'd be churlish not to indulge ourselves in some more of the creative insults flung our way from the world of anti-social media. So for the first time in bloody ages, it's time for Troll With It.
Go on then, James.
Well, this is the. Do you know? I feel that I'm here under false pretenses.
I
haven't been on Twitter for a year. I literally only go every couple of months to check my DMs.
Yeah.
I still appeared, and this isn't a boast, it's an expression of bafflement. I still appeared on the Reuters most influential UK journalists on social media. And I'm on Blue Sky, but that doesn't seem to be a game changer. So it's still, obviously LBC puts up clips of my show, and various weirdos and far-right characters like to put up clips of me as well, sometimes with hilarious commentary over the top or accusing me of all manner of hideous things that I just can't keep track of and have given up trying. But the classic trolling is, I mean, you told me earlier about someone who does impersonations of me with a giant ear, which sounds hilarious. But you'll forgive me for not looking it up when I get home to find out just what the.
Because it's so funny. I mean, it's only the big ear that's
the big ear is funny. The caliber of comedy, I suspect, is both cruel and ignorant, which is what Twitter is for now. So I don't know.
Bullying. Just bullying.
Yes, I don't know. And, we've got thick skin and big profiles, so bullying, it's not water off a duck's back, but it's a bit like the tree that falls down in the forest. If you're not there to witness it, why do they carry on doing it? What's the point? Who are they bullying? It's almost as if they're sort of smelling each other's farts in order to sort of, do you know what I mean? And the target of the fart isn't even in the room anymore. Yeah. I quite like the ones that still come through on air, which I mean, it is borderline kindergarten. There's a chap who always calls me, even when I've started reading them out, James No Brain, and you just, because my name is O'Brien and they both have O's and B's and N's in them and R's, that passes for comedy. But I can't actually zone in on any moments of particular, but this isn't a challenge to people listening or a call to arms or anything like that. But I think since leaving Twitter, which you do, Ian Dunt wrote very powerfully about this recently, didn't he? About how it was a little embarrassing to read, is that the bigger you're following there, the bigger deal it was. It felt at the time like a really big deal to remove yourself from the fray. Turns out it isn't at all. It's the most natural thing in the world, unless you are really addicted to the attention, to the scale of response. But once you're not there anymore, the noise is really quiet and
quite lovely.
It is, yes, and long may it continue.
Alex, have we had any particularly bad Quiet Riot trolling lately?
We've had the whole, mysterious Irish people living in Switzerland lot that keep basically making the point that...
I'm going to look for some now. I feel like I've let you down. I'm going to go...
that Britain left the EU, so fuck you, don't you try and get close to us again. It's a reasonable way to feel, I guess. I'm not entirely sure why I kept being accused of being...
Guilt by association with me.
A voice for the English. I mean, I'm Greek. I've got an EU passport, so I don't get at all why that was the case. But yeah. And then there's, shout out to... One of us keeps blocking on social media, and he keeps sending us emails saying,
"Unblock me.
Unblock me. I am a subscriber. Why are you blocking me?" And I'll go and look, and it's like, "'Cause you were rude." You stop being rude. Like, when someone is rude, we don't actually go and check.
I remember that extraordinary kind of sense of entitlement that goes with the territories.
Well, we don't go and check. We don't go and check, is this person a paying punter?
No.
In which case, we just have to take it.
What's she paying for? It's like going to the fairground and paying to throw tomatoes at someone.
That's not my king.
You have to volunteer to be the person who's having tomatoes thrown.
Weird.
You can't just throw them at passers-by or the bloke running the Dodgems. You're not allowed to throw tomatoes at the bloke running the Dodgems. You can only throw tomatoes at the bloke who's in the stocks.
Exactly.
It's extraordinary.
But we love you. And we thank you for your favour. It's just that if you keep being rude, someone's going to block you because we don't pay enough attention.
Now I'm going to move us on to a story that should have been a far bigger story than it actually ended up being.
I mean, when we move on to the stories that shouldn't have been big, and which we're not doing yet, so I just want you to hold this in your mind when you think about the politicians that the media has been favourable towards as opposed to the ones that they try to pin anything on. To the best of my knowledge, and I've done quite a bit of digging to try to find evidence, Nathan Gill never said anything while being bribed by a Kremlin stooge about Russia that Nigel Farage hasn't also said. And, I mean, if that's not the mother of all question marks, not for a minute suggesting that Nigel Farage has accepted bribes from a Kremlin stooge.
8 MEPs in total have made the exact same statement.
But that was following a script. They're being investigated for it. But if you were just to look at the spirit of what is said, and some of the lines like poking the Russian bear or blaming the invasion of Crimea or the invasion of Ukraine on NATO or the European Union, the fact that the man currently leading the polls to be our next Prime Minister has not distinguished himself in any way from a man who needed to be paid by a Kremlin stooge to make these arguments should, to me, be a much bigger story. Everything about Russian interference in British politics should, to me, be a much bigger story than it has been or possibly ever will be. But given Farage's prominence in the polls at the moment, I find it extraordinary that nobody else is joining those particular dots together, or even simply asking him, because he can't hide from the Dulwich College stuff forever, but simply asking him whether Nathan Gill ever said anything he disagrees with about Russia. That you can have that for nothing, anyone who actually gets the chance to sit down with him.
Also, given what we know about Nigel Farage and what a control freak he is about his party.
Exactly. So what
did 8 of his MEPs making those exact statements, and the idea that
did they say anything you were unhappy with, anything you would disagree? Obviously, I am just asking questions, and that question is: did he ever say anything while taking bribes from a Kremlin stooge that you disagree with?
And mine is related to that.
Okay.
My story that really should be a very big story and isn't. Is about this £9 million donation from a crypto person. I mean, a crypto person with a stake in the platform currently being accused of helping Russia basically bypass sanctions, by the way. So we have right now the story about Nathan Gill, and it's expanding because we find that many other MEPs made the exact same statement. We have Nigel Farage's past when it comes to expenses. He's been sanctioned twice by the European Parliament. There are questions about his Clacton expenses, big questions about how he bought the house in Clacton, who paid for that. That all seems to have gone away. His relationship with accounting has been a complicated one. I think I can say that. And at the same time, you have this story about bribes. And at the same time, you have this story about American dark money, openly saying that it's trying to influence our elections. And up pops this crypto guy that hands over £9 million that effectively rescues reform, which is hugely overextended and was really struggling to fundraise.
I mean, they've only, in that quarterly return where we were able to find out about the £9 million donation, the other donation totals are 1 million.
Yeah.
So they've got 10 million, of which 9 has come from one guy.
Yeah, and the other one from the other guy, the property guy, because that was in the papers at the time. And so you have that. You have Nigel Farage suddenly making loads of statements about crypto, even criticizing the Bank of England for trying to introduce regulation in the late summer. And at the same time, you have an environment in which journalists have been apoplectic about anyone in Labour accepting so much as a tin of beans from a Labour peer. And the question that is foremost in everyone's mind every time that happens is, what influence is that person buying from Labour by giving Keir Starmer a pair of eyeglasses? And so that's the background, and you have this guy turn up and give 9 million quid to Nigel Farage, and I have not seen a single journalist say, what influence is that money buying, considering he's ahead in the polls at the moment? No one. I find that so strange that I find it impossible not to then start to construct conspiracies
in your own head,
and say that, well, it must be because people don't want to know, because people are actively promoting this person right now, and so they won't report on stories that go against that objective.
I'm going to go with one domestic and one international underreported story. And for the domestic, I'm going to blow Quiet Riot trumpet because it is one we did shine a spotlight on. And that is single justice procedure. Yeah. We had Tristan Kirkcourt's correspondent from the Evening Standard on the show to talk about it. And the fact that this government has done fuck all about it, I find very, very, very frustrating. It should be a story, and a far, far bigger story. And what it is, for those that don't remember, it's this streamlined court process for minor non-imprisonable offences that allows a single magistrate to decide cases without a hearing, often just on the papers sent in by post, so it saves court time and cost. But it's especially for things like low-level speeding, DVLA issues, bills going unpaid by deceased people and then their relatives being chased for it, and defendants have to respond within 21 days or risk conviction in their absence. And I just think that it's absolutely abhorrent and something we should not be tolerating. And then globally, totally different end of the scale, I'm going to go with Sudan.
Yeah.
You know, we get night after night of our national broadcasters talking about Gaza, reporting from Gaza, from Tel Aviv.
Well, we don't even get that anymore, really.
No, and occasionally from the front line in Ukraine, but very rarely do we look there. And in the first half of the year alone, the UN documented nearly 4,000 civilian deaths, 12 million people forced from their homes.
Yep.
Into neighbouring countries or internally. You've got literal regions devastated of the country, not just towns. You've got civilian infrastructure destroyed, villages razed to the ground, hunger that comes with all of that, famine, conditions, medical care. And the recent attacks have been really brutal, like particularly brutal in December 2025, drone strike on a kindergarten and a hospital killed more than 100, including many, many children.
We'll drop some links in on Behind the Lines episode.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, sort of a bit of a humble brag that we have covered both of those stories through our podcast, but I find it incredible that they haven't had more airtime. Right.
No, they're going to be a big story when they start crossing the channel, though.
Yeah,
no, exactly.
When 50 people, a trickle from those millions of displaced people, when the first 50 people arrive in Calais, then there will be a story, because then they will be economic migrants.
Quiet Riot.
How does PwC take your company to the leading edge? They bring the sharpest minds in tech to your team, so you can bring the ideas that will transform your business. They're passionate about your industry, so you can walk into any room with every advantage. And they're with you every step of the way, so you can know you're headed in the right direction. PwC builds for what's next, so you can get there now. Get started at pwc.com/us/leading edge.
Quiet Riot. James, a story that shouldn't have been a story, but absolutely was.
Yeah. Now, I've got two.
Go for it.
But they both involve Rachel Reeves.
Yeah, that makes three with mine. But maybe it's the same.
Well, I'll only do one then.
No, do both.
Okay, so the story about her rental agent telling her husband that they didn't need a certificate.
A landlord's license.
A landlord's license to rent their house out. And her husband believing the professional who they were paying to provide this information and therefore not getting the license. That was the front page, I think, of the Mail on Sunday. And then the
a story
Daily Mail.
for more than a day.
Lasted at least more than one news cycle. But compared to...
And then putting their hands up and saying it was our cock-up.
Yeah, the estate agents doing that. And
they actually said they were going to do it on their behalf and didn't.
Sorry, exactly that. No, that was it. Yes, it was. We'll deal with this for you. So we presumed that we had. They presumed that they had. As a husband who's a bit useless, and I don't mean to do that in a kind of, aren't men awful kind of way. I just being honest, that my wife gives me things to do and I forget them. And I know how Mr. Reeves would have felt in that moment, because
Miranda, how you have suffered.
Because he would have gone, I'm sure I did it, but I can't actually. I didn't make a note, and I didn't. And he'd have been searching his emails because I know. No, I promise you, I did this. I promise you, I haven't put you in a resignation position, darling. And then I think it was quite late, wasn't it? They found the email. Yeah. It turned out that the property manager had moved on from the estate agent literally within a 24-hour window and hadn't done it despite promising to do it.
And then the fuckers tried to get her for that.
Yes.
Tried to say, so
she's guilty anyway. So she's guilty anyway.
Story.
And people, was there one Daily Mail columnist who said, this is a police matter. It's not just a matter for the parliamentary.
I think that was generous.
It was probably. But compared to what happened with her childhood chess championship, this story feels like Watergate, doesn't it? This was quite breathtaking, even to the point where I thought, there's no smoke without fire. She must have exaggerated or lied, but she won an under-14s girls' chess championship when she was
just not the right
child.
one.
Yes, she won the British Women's Chess Association under-14s girls' chess championship. But a bloke whose Twitter account had someone had later established had been attacking Rachel Reeves for entirely different reasons, claiming that his 3-year-old daughter had been describing her as a villain or something like that, who's stealing all daddy's money. So coincidence, I'm sure, rather than evidence of an agenda or a vendetta. He came forward to say, no. She is not the under-14s girls chess championship because she didn't win the boys chess championship. She didn't win the one that boys and girls can enter. She only won the one that only girls or something. But the point was she won. And it was in every national newspaper, that accusation that she'd done something wrong. And those are the moments, aren't they, where you just go, what the...
Does it matter?
What I'm trying to point out is some objective fact was that she wasn't the champion that she claimed to be.
And I suppose if you're in the chess world, do these specifics matter?
They do. Why? Because she did indeed win a quite different title. So there was a BWCA championship, but that is a more minor title. I've won titles like the British squad title, but that is not the same. There is one event which is very prestigious, which is the British Championship. So the dispute is not whether she was a good or bad chess player. That should not be the criterion for a chancellor. But if you were not the British champion, you should not make that statement.
We had Sam Friedman on a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying, I think that is borderline psychotic to actually put that in a newspaper like The Times.
But remember how many
to say we'll publish that
people
story.
It has to go past.
We won't talk about Sudan.
Yes.
And 100 children being killed in a kindergarten. We're going to go with this.
$9 million of crypto money that just went to the person.
No.
And you could, I presume it was Googleable. I presume somebody in the chain of command could have gone, hang on a minute, she wouldn't have made it up. What did she win? And someone then would have said, well, it turns out she won the girls'
Ooh.
Championship. Well, that's what she said she won. Yeah, but it's... Let me just ring this guy again. So she did win it, yes, but she didn't win the boys and girls. She never said she did win the boys and girls.
Two people shared that fucking byline.
Inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable.
What's your Rachel Reeves story, Alex?
So mine is extraordinarily enough
Another
different.
One. Good Lord.
So, which actually
it's almost like there's a hideous
which
sort of pursuit
to illustrate the general point, doesn't it? I mean, I just thought the whole... Turns out the economy has been doing better than we thought.
Oh, this was great, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it turns out that...
That's a sacking offence.
And it turns out that she, in the end, didn't have to break a central pledge in the manifesto and increase income tax. Therefore, Rachel Reeves must resign.
Yeah.
And like any way you try to turn this, to look at it, it looks bonkers.
Yeah, I think that was the one someone said she should be arrested for, actually. I mean, it could have been any of those three.
It is exactly what chancellors have been doing for at least a decade, certainly, since the Omnishambles budget. They've been leaking more and more stuff, basically. And after the Truss budget, arguably, it became a really sensible thing to do, to like pre-warn the markets
Find
about
out what the bond markets are going to do.
You're trying, rather than take anyone by surprise. And so to turn around and say that, well, she didn't have to break the pledge, and the money coming in was slightly more than we were led to believe, therefore she must immediately resign her position. I think it speaks to a kind of derangement in the press about Rachel Reeves that is part misogyny, part a sort of hatred of the left, if you can even describe the current Labour Party as left. But it's like, but there is this sense of entitlement that these people shouldn't be in government.
Yes, how dare they?
Our people should be in government.
How dare they? And to that point...
How dare someone Labour be Chancellor, let alone a woman?
A bloody woman. I sat there on the night of the budget and was struck by a thought that we would not have to wait much longer to see what Alistair Heath at the Telegraph and I think it's Alex Brummer at the Mail were going to be paid to analyse Rachel Reeves' budget, having covered Liz Truss's budget 3 years previously.
Best budget ever, that was apparently.
I mean, Alistair Heath struggled to contain himself. Such was his excitement at that particular budget. And to speak to a lot of the issues we've discussed today, these men are still being paid money for their insights. Men who described Liz Truss's...
Who repeatedly get it completely wrong.
Whose
predictions are false and are proven
Brexit,
to be so.
Austerity, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss. But to sit there and think, all right, well, yes, I'm just filing my copy on Rachel Reeves's budget, says the man who described Liz Truss as a fiscal genius. And then it appears the next morning. Yeah. And she never lied. This was the bit that you go on about the psychotic nature of things. She should arguably have, and could certainly have, talked about how inflation had led to a higher tax take than expected, which had essentially balanced out some of the projected falling growth. Yes, but the projected falling growth was exactly as described and predicted. So it's extraordinary how many people didn't understand that. They thought growth hadn't gone down because they were opening newspapers with the word liar in 4-inch type and shouting it on their radio programs. She hadn't lied. You could talk about a sin by omission if you wanted to, but she was being...
when have chancellors not done that?
Precisely.
When have chancellors not accentuated the thing that allows me to do...
The moment of beauty was the one you just identified, when she went in the space of 24 hours from being attacked for destroying the economy to being attacked for not destroying the economy. It was just breathtaking.
Just bonkers.
But here we are. It's normal now.
I've gone for a completely different story. Nothing about Rachel Reeves, nothing even about the UK, though watch it, it's coming. And that is the Cracker Barrel story. I don't know if either of you remember this.
Oh, they changed their sign and everyone cancelled them.
So it's an American restaurant and gift shop. And in August of 2025, they got rid of their old logo, which was a guy resting on a barrel, and made it a very sort of sleek corporate redesign. And they, I think, redesigned some of the interiors of some of their shops. And a week later, they had a 10.5% drop in their stock price. And the company crapped their pants and announced that the logo would be reverted back because the criticism had been so enormous, the go woke, go broke thing in action. Almost immediately after the redesign, social media exploded with outrage. There were boycotts, there were accusations of being sellouts, claims the chain had betrayed the nation, and conservative figures all over social media and high-profile accounts piled onto it.
On the all-time list of weirdest culture wars, this one's got to rank pretty high. And for one company, the price that it is paying is also very high. Cracker Barrel has updated its logo. You see it right there. It's pretty standard for companies to update from time to time, but not according to MAGA.
They took the white man from the logo. They removed the cracker from the barrel, and it's disgusting. Woke is at my doorstep. They went from Cracker Barrel to Woke Barrel. It's not just a restaurant. It's my heritage.
The right is now calling the chain woke, and the stock price fell off a cliff today over it. Some of them are upset that they took away Uncle Herschel. The president's son asked, what the F is wrong with them? One MAGA account with nearly 4 million followers said that the CEO should face charges for this crime against humanity. And a MAGA podcaster took it one step further.
Got rid of the cracker and the barrel. They erased the white guy sitting outside of the Cracker Barrel store. White people are about to riot.
I don't know if this is satire or what, but yeah, I guess they got rid of the cracker, his words, and the barrel at the same time. And so now it's about to be Civil War Part 2 in the country. Make it make sense.
First off, I think it's wrong to paint this as MAGA world is outraged. Sure, there are people in...
Listen, it's not just me saying it's MAGA, okay? Here's Byron Donalds, a sitting Republican congressman. He says, in college, I worked at Cracker Barrel in Tallahassee. I even gave my life to Christ in their parking lot. Their logo was iconic. Their unique restaurants were a fixture of American culture. No one asked for this woke rebrand. It's time to make Cracker Barrel great again.
And so on initial glance, you're like, okay, messy PR stumble to an internal brand. This is not global news. But it bloody should have been. Peak Metrics and Cyabra, who do a lot of forensic investigative stuff online, found that almost all of the outrage was fake.
Wow.
So within 24 hours of the logo's release, about half of the posts about the change, most of them calling for boycotts, were clearly bot-generated content, duplicating posts, around-the-clock activity, identical wording across many accounts. And one of the most viral bot-generated posts just read, Cracker Barrel is officially dead to me, #bring back the old logo.
Wow.
And it was shared tens of thousands of times in hours.
So no evidence of them losing custom, but losing share price as a consequence of people reacting to the online brouhaha.
Exactly.
That bit should have been a story.
Right, exactly.
That bit I hadn't even heard.
Exactly, and I didn't think you would have. So it just shows how easily anything can be amplified into a media storm.
That's fantastic.
Whether you won a bloody chess championship called X or Y 40 years ago, or whether about this. And I just find it staggering that we are so unaware of how bots, fake accounts, manipulated content, misinformation, disinformation, and increasingly AI are going to disrupt our economies, our democracies, and our way of life. Can you really believe what is in front of your eyes anymore? Certainly not if you're a shareholder in Cracker Barrel.
Quiet Riot. This is Jason Momoa, and I'll be your finance professor today. Welcome to Banking Smarter 101 with Chime. Bam! First lesson, sign up for Chime and set up direct deposit. You'll be joining millions of members banking fee-free. Second lesson, get cash back on eligible purchases while building credit and a higher APY on your savings. That's how you bank smarter this season. Fa-la-la-la-la, class dismissed. Join Chime today.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and a secure Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees-info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secure Chime Visa credit card purchases. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn about credit building and more at chime.com.
Quiet Riot.
And now, more in the spirit of Aladdin than the Nativity, I shall grant 3 wishes. But budgets being what they are, we have to share them. So 1 to each of us. We each get to change just one thing from the year just gone that we think has the potential to change the course of the year ahead. It's a change for the better, ideally, but you never do know with us. So who wants to go first?
Go on, James. Be careful what you wish for.
I can't go for Kidderminster Harriers losing their final game of the season and missing out on promotion, because I would struggle to paint that as having global ramifications or even national ramifications.
I don't know. Butterfly flaps its wings.
Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, hope springs eternal. The Daily Mail moving to buy the Telegraph now. If we were to take that as a fait accompli or close, I still remain fascinated by the idea of some very rich person deciding to use these weapons for good. Somebody with the cash to actually say, why don't we hire some really good writers? And we could even buy the Telegraph.
Yeah.
And turn it into a place that is evidence-based, that doesn't pay the man who described Liz Truss as the best thing since sliced bread to attack Rachel Reeves, that actually reflects a lot of what your listeners and what my listeners would recognise but have nowhere to go really in print media. The national daily newspaper that brings a sense of mischief, a commitment to truth, and a lighter touch perhaps than The Guardian ever manages to do. I would be fascinated to see what that would look like. And you might even break even.
Fuck it, let's crowdfund now.
Let's crowdfund that now.
Come on, James. Your followers and ours combined.
Without betraying any
Stomp
confidences. I had quite a weird couple of years in the immediate aftermath of the Brexit vote. So my career went berserk, which, is a silver lining, but I grant you not a very thick one for most people. My career went berserk and I started being approached by people. And it's all a little bit lost in the midst of time. Everything gets a little bit jumbled up. But one of the meetings I had, and I can't even find the emails now, was with someone who was like literally floating the idea of using a fortune that him and some partners and friends had made in the city to set up a kind of anti-Brexit daily newspaper that would...
If you're listening,
bit like what the New European did, but on a much, much grander scale, with a willingness to spend and lose an awful lot of money. And ever since then, I've just found myself wondering what would happen if, when the BBC was doing paper reviews, they actually had to
do the front page,
had to include the front page of a paper that was just sort of saying, guess what? She did win a chess competition.
I wonder where they did put their cash.
I don't know what happened to that, genuinely. I sometimes think I dreamt it.
If you're listening. How about you, Naomi?
I've got 2, very much linked to Brexit, as James has just mentioned. What else would you expect from me? One, I think if we'd managed to hold the talks together on the UK's access to the €150 billion safe fund, we would be going into 2026 with Europe in a much stronger position to help Ukraine defeat Putin. And the second one is a slightly more esoteric one. And that is that I would go back and change the date of the von der Leyen Starmer Reset Summit that happened in May, where they made a commitment that these would be annual summits, because the next one is now going to be immediately after the local elections.
Have they announced that?
It's almost certainly going to be end of May, so a year on. And so I would go back in time, hold it a month earlier, and therefore it would happen in April. And that would go into that set of local elections with some big progress. And they would then not get stalled with a potential change of personnel from any kind of reshuffle that could come after it.
That's really clever.
Thank you. I'll put that on my...
I like that. That's
Blue
proper
sky.
quantum leap. That's proper quantum leap thinking, isn't it?
Go on then, Alex. Close the show with your biggie. What would you change?
It's not a biggie. It's a very small change I would make. 28th of February, I would give Brian Glenn from America's Voice just a little bit of a stomach bug or something. I was thinking he's the one that asked Zelensky why
he teed it up, didn't he?
He wasn't wearing a suit. And I think they they were obviously trying to make this happen, but they were struggling. They didn't have that handle. And that thing gave them that handle. And everything that followed since, because that meeting turned into such a cold shower, I think, it desensitized everyone to all the madness that has followed. And had that meeting not gone like that, I think everything else would have to be toned down quite a lot and introduced a lot more slowly. So I think it would have given the world more time to adjust. And my initial thought was just give him a bit of a stomach flu.
Yeah, a couple of laxatives and his hot chocolate.
He can't make the conference that day. But then I thought, actually, if it's a magic wish and I can shape it whichever way I want, then do that and actually make him shit himself at the pertinent moment when he was about to ask that question. Trump turns to him and says, "Brian," and he just...
What have you done?
Just lets go everywhere. And I think that derails that meeting completely then. And the world is a different place.
I mean,
today.
we could spend a lot of time wondering about moments in history where somebody shitting themselves could have changed everything, couldn't we? But I like this one. I like this as a starting point.
And I think for Marjorie Taylor Greene as well. Because,
she'd have a bit of a rethink.
You'd never really look at that person the same way again.
Oh, come on, Lineker managed it. He was all right. And I'm very sorry, listeners, if any of you were eating some Christmas leftovers while listening to the show. We may have given you a bit of cause for pause on what you were digesting.
And that's a Christmas wrap. James, thank you so much for adding some much needed ho-ho-ho to our little show ho-ho.
If you enjoyed this, and let's face it, you've made it this far, watch out for some bonus specials over the next few days.
All that remains is for us to give you your call to action. And it is simply this: enjoy yourselves. Refresh, renew. It's the season of giving, so don't forget to be kind to yourself. The one thing we always forget to do something that you really love. Just pamper yourself a little bit.
And remember, however you are spending the holidays in quiet solitude or surrounded by family drunks, there is always someone somewhere who wishes they could be in your shoes.
To return to Dickens, we have nothing before us, but also everything before us. We love you all so much we want to snog you under the mistletoe, after, of course, procuring your informed consent.
Woke. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Quiet Riot.
One last thing. You've been with us through an extremely turbulent year, and we couldn't have done it without your support, your enthusiasm, and your kind words too. These things are important. So a very, very special thank you to one and all of our friends in the Quiet Riot universe. Also, because this is going out on Sunday, and we won't speak to you again until next year, we are afforded the privilege of being officially the very first people to wish you all a very, very Happy New Year! We will be back on New Year's Day with a hangover. We will be back on New Year's Day with a hangover soother of a show.
And a hangover.
Where we will be making predictions for the year ahead. See you all in 2026.
Quiet Riot is an audio production by Cooler Heads with Naomi Smith and Andreou. Produced by Kenny Campbell. Music by Mariana Sangeeta. Artwork by Simona Canelu. And edited by me, Alex Reese.
Quiet Riot.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here, wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. Mint is still premium, unlimited wireless for a great price. So, that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.